What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Fuel Friday. Today is the day where me and my good friend Dr. Harrison talk about a hot topic that we think is going to help you build your happiest, healthiest life. But the kicker is we do it in 15 minutes or less. So I already
Or
got the clock
less.
going here. Already
Love it.
running. Dr. Harrison, what's the topic today? What are we talking about?
The topic is, what is hypothyroidism? Like, truly, what is it? And can you lose weight with this disorder? Right?
Mm.
That's a great question. I think that's a question that you get all the time, and there's concerns and there's emotional burden associated with workouts and lifestyle if we have this label.
Yeah, and I want to go, and I'll let you go first, but I think that with hypothyroidism, we get it all in the time. And I'm curious because this is your world. Is this something that's genetic? Is it a nutrient? Like, how does somebody get it, and what is it? I guess that would be the first thing to define because I think a lot of
Yeah,
people think they have a slow metabolism and they think it's hypothyroidism, but maybe it's not. What is all that?
yeah. The thyroid gets blamed for everything. Unfortunately, it's kind of it's been a buzz phrase, a buzzword, a buzz concern for I don't know every bit of 10 years, rightfully so. But not everybody has a thyroid issue if they have a metabolic problem. The thyroid can come on in one of two ways. There's the vast majority of thyroid disorders are not genetic but autoimmune. So your immune system turns on yourself and starts destroying your thyroid, a disorder called Hashimoto's. And that's the vast majority of thyroid problems, but it's not all of the thyroid problems. Other people can have a problematic thyroid, a weak thyroid, and and diagnosed full, as a hypothyroidism if they have, and I'm jumping a little farther into this, if their thyroid isn't producing or converting hormone,
Mm.
if they're not getting the conversion of thyroid hormone. And so one way is autoimmune, and the other way is somebody who has either significant digestive problems or significant liver problems and toxicity.
Interesting.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we say digestive issues, which that was the thing that I think, like your diet, your nutrition, gut issues, those are a lot of things that if you can fix the gut, I assume would help with those things. But the liver stuff is interesting to me. And so that brings up a question from me to you is people who drink alcohol on a regular basis and their liver is weaker because of those things, could that affect those things? I'm curious about
Yeah,
that.
Ken, I'll explain it. I've done a lot of videos on this, but I'll explain it. And I'm well versed in the thyroid. It's probably 4 years ago. 90% of my patients were thyroid disorders, thyroid
Wow.
cases. You're getting people flying from out of state, all over. So the simple aspect of the thyroid is thyroid function starts in the brain. Thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. That's the one if people are listening to this. And TSH is not a thyroid hormone, even though it's tested as a thyroid hormone. It's actually a brain hormone. So the thyroid or the brain sends a signal down to the thyroid, the butterfly-shaped gland in your neck, with a hormone called a TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone. And then the thyroid makes two groups of hormones. It makes T4s and makes T3s. And T4, and the vast majority of the hormone coming out of the thyroid is in the form of T4. 93% is T4. And the remaining hormone is T3 is only 7% of what's coming out of the thyroid. And this is a problem because T4 is something we can't use. We can't use T4 hormone.
Convert it to the
Yeah, we
T3.
have to convert it into T3, and that's where the and 60% of this conversion happens through the liver,
Wow.
and 20% is the gut. So if you have a liver problem, toxicity, alcohol, all that, you're definitely going, and you create enough toxicity in the liver, you're not going to get that T3. And the T3 hormone is the hormone where you get metabolism and hair growth and regeneration of skin and immune function and weight loss and mood and fertility and muscle mass and energy. It's just kind of all that great stuff. So that's how the liver and the gut play directly into it. Is T3
Yeah.
is the T3
That's
hormone?
just so interesting to me because everything's connected, right? And so I knew about the T4 converting to T3 and, the role of the thyroid, but I didn't realize how much the liver plays a role in that and how everything is connected, which is really cool. So, the issue that, we run into and we're trying to help people here is that they come in and they feel like, okay, we've heard of like your thyroid affects your metabolism. And if we were to associate a slow metabolism, when people say I have a slow metabolism or hypothyroidism, it's I struggle to lose weight or we hold on fat easier. And so, when we have those people in here, they almost have this limiting belief of, oh, I can't lose weight. And I
Yeah.
think that we can both agree, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I just don't think that that's the truth. I mean, we've had plenty of people come in here, and it is very possible, but I guess the steps and the protocols of what we would do in that scenario. But do you agree as far as it's possible to lose
Yeah,
weight?
oh, for sure it is possible. So if you go to your doctor and then you complain to them that you have hair thinning or hard to lose weight or low energy or all of these certain little characteristics. Even interesting, the symptom of hypothyroidism is the outer one third of eyebrow losing your eyebrows. It's a common
Really?
symptom. Yeah.
Oh, so much.
So I even have it in my intake paperwork. And some people are like, oh my goodness, I asked the doctors and no one says anything. Well, they don't look at things like this. So if someone has these symptoms, go to the medical doctor because that's where they're going to go initially. And the doctor will test their hormones, their thyroid hormones. But what are they testing? 99% of the time, they're testing one test, and that's TSH. That's really not a thyroid hormone, it's a brain hormone.
Right.
So, so if the thyroid hormones, T3s and T4s, the true thyroid hormones get low, the brain watching their hormone in the body. If the hormone's low, the brain says, oh crap, we got to increase the stimulation to the thyroid so the thyroid can start performing and building up our hormone levels again. So when T3s and T4s go low, we tend to see increase TSH. Does that make sense? So if
100%.
someone has high TSH on a lab panel, there is the assumption the individual has low T3 and T4. It's an assumption. A lot of times it's accurate, but not always. And this is the biggest problem with thyroid testing or thyroid diagnosis is there's 12 tests. I do 12 tests on everybody. If they don't have them when I come into the office, that's just part of what we do. And the medical community does one or two.
Well, and it's interesting too, because even if you only test the TSH and you have this assumption that, oh, it's increasing all these things, but even if you start to raise your T4 and T3, to your point that it doesn't solve the problem if the ratio is not off and we're not converting the T4 or
That's
T3 as
that's
well.
true. Yeah, yeah. So if there's high TSH on a lab panel, it's automatic diagnosis of hypothyroidism, regardless if the T3s and T4s are really low.
Mhm.
But to answer your question, so if someone has a diagnosis of hypothyroidism, high TSH, um, can they lose weight? Is that the burden? Um, the vast in most cases it is, but it can be managed. And there's medical management, which is a drug. It's either a T4 or T3 medication, and TSH naturally drops. And if the thyroid hormones are right, if they're tested and they're right, they're dialed in, whether that's lifestyle functional medicine strategies like I would do. In most cases, we can improve that. Some cases, if it's gone too far with like Hashimoto's, which is where the immune system is destroying the thyroid, sometimes we need medical management with that. But you can, even with a diagnosis of hypothyroidism, you can correct your hormones, whether it's medical interventions and or lifestyle interventions like functional medicine, and you will be able to lose weight. It's not going to be a weak link,
Yeah.
but it does take management. If someone has these hormones low, unfortunately, it's going to be hard. It can be very, very hard to lose weight.
Yep.
I wish I could say it differently.
And it sounds too like as we go through this that there's the Hashimoto's and things, but even just being diagnosed with hypothyroidism in general, when we talk about the gut and the liver and things like this, it almost sounds like based on lifestyle choices, you can put yourself into hypothyroidism based on
Oh
your
yeah.
nutrition protocols and
Oh
things like
yeah.
that. Is that true? So
Yeah. Oh, for
it's
sure.
for a lot of people who have slow and might be coming up on this one test that doctors are doing or things like that, if it's self-induced one way because you're not fueling yourself the right way, nutrition, your gut health is off, the alcohol consumption, your liver's off, all these things, then in those cases, it can almost be reversed the same way. Is that true as well?
Well, I think so. I think it's the type of hypothyroidism, and I want to kind of come back to that. If your immune system is destroying your thyroid, that's an autoimmune disorder. And depending on how advanced it is and how much your thyroid is damaged, you're going to need autoimmune strategies,
Mhm.
right? Because you even if you add the medication in and now you have thyroid hormones, your thyroid's still getting destroyed.
Right.
What else is getting destroyed in your body? So if it's autoimmune, you're going to need both. Well,
Correct.
chances are you're going to need medical management, replacement hormone, and you're going to need to calm this autoimmunity down. So you're going to need things like functional medicine or lifestyle medicine. So, but if you are diagnosed with hypothyroidism and it is not Hashimoto's, because there's a test for Hashimoto's, I've done videos on this.
Mhm.
It's antibody test. It's very simple. And if it's not Hashimoto's, And then we have to believe it's a conversion problem, because most cases it's a conversion, not able to convert T4 to T3 due to gut dysfunction, liver dysfunction. Yeah, lifestyle stuff can cause that type of hypothyroidism, and lifestyle efforts can improve that conversion and hopefully get the person out of hypothyroid state.
So here's the question. Here's the fun part. So again, autoimmune disorders aside, because that's getting the medical attention, there's something there, but
Mhm.
almost self-inducing or on the path to putting yourself in hypothyroidism through lifestyle changes, your gut, your liver, things like
Mhm.
that. I would assume that that process that somebody would go through to get their thyroid back to a normal place or just moving in the right
Mhm.
direction would be a similar, if not the same protocol as somebody who has a healthy thyroid and just wants to keep a healthy thyroid as far as your
Yeah,
nutrition and your exercise and moving. Is
yeah,
that accurate or do they need to do something
yeah.
completely different?
Well, no, no. What keeps us healthy is the same thing that improves our health, right?
Mhm.
So just like your everything in life. So yeah, I would say that. I think if someone's gut is completely trashed and they have all sorts of liver dysfunction, and indicators of liver dysfunction are really interesting. Sometimes people have just chronic pain. Sometimes people are lethargic. I know there's a million things that cause this. More specific things would be skin disorders. So if someone has a skin disorder, like specifically acne and really unhealthy skin, you can be guaranteed there's a toxicity problem. Guaranteed, because the liver cleans toxins out of the body, and the more toxic load, a lot of people will manifest this toxic load in skin.
Mm,
So skin is an important thing to see with that. So yeah, the lifestyle habits that keep your body and your thyroid healthy are only going to improve your thyroid function. It's just, how bad is your gut and your liver? Is lifestyle going to be enough? Are you going to need some advanced stuff like advanced nutraceuticals and things like that with functional medicine? But
yeah, 100%.
you
And
know,
I just think the thing is because when people say, "Oh, I had this thyroid issue and I can't lose weight," I think that in the beginning it might take a little longer because you're now having to fix this thing, but it's
mhm.
not this crazy different protocol or something like, again, seeing somebody like yourself and kind of diving into that stuff, if there is
Yeah,
things, but again, if we've made these lifestyle choices to get us here, then it's going to take us a little longer to make the lifestyle changes to get us back to where we were. So the process, you might just need to be a little bit more disciplined, or it might just take a little longer. But those protocols in the lifestyle, like drinking more water, right, to help with your liver, like I'm sure that would be a huge thing.
yeah, yeah.
Flush things out, your whole foods, exercise, like all of that stuff.
Yeah, anything that promotes energy will promote liver detoxification. That's an
Hmm.
interesting thing. So detoxification is a metabolically dependent process. So you got to have energy.
Hmm.
So there's a lot of pieces to it. But if someone was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, we would want to know that the T3s and T4 hormones are dialed in, and
Yeah.
that's a simple blood panel. And then if they're dialed in, it's like you might still have that diagnosis, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the hormone is there and you're good. So um, yeah, I guess that would be the biggest thing, because if there is unmanaged, non-managed hypothyroidism, it would be very, very hard to just to lose weight. You would, again, the healthy lifestyle strategies and medical management, I think,
Yeah.
if needed. Yeah.
Yeah. A hundred
Um,
percent. It
right.
just gets me so excited about all these things. I always learn something talking to you, but I think it gives a lot of good insight. And I love it more than anything, Dr. Harrison. Me being in my world where own a gym, we're working out, we're focused on nutrition, and you have the functional medicine of things, you're doing the blood panels. I love it when I'm like, this is what I think, we see. And you're like, well, this is exactly what I see. And it's like, those two things are like they
Hmm.
work so well. It's like you're not going to avoid these things in the
Yeah.
healthy lifestyle. And I think a lot of people are getting the quick fix of like, oh, I have hypothyroidism and I immediately need to go and do all these crazy
Something crazy.
drugs or these
No,
extremes
no,
or weight loss. When it's
no.
just, there's
Not-
such a better way at the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah, there really is. And functional medicine, it gives direction and structure and helps prop up these organ systems. But the lifestyle that is implemented is really the targeted lifestyle is really the goals of it. And that's what you're preaching all the time, and accountability and all that. Like there's no pharmaceuticals or supplements on the planet that could even scratch the surface of what a healthy lifestyle and physical activity could do. It just doesn't. You just can't. And we all have the power for the most. We all have access to the most powerful medicine that our advanced medical technology in the United States has, and we have even something more powerful in the form of lifestyle. So all the surgeries, all the drugs cannot replace lifestyle. And we have it at the tip of our fingers. It's
Yep.
wild. It's wild how we wait for some new medical treatment to fix our problem. And I'm not saying those are bad things, but we're the sickest. We're sicker than we ever were in history, and we have more medical technology and advancements ever in history. And there we are.
Yeah, there we are. But I agree with you. So those final words I think are super important. That would be a whole nother rant for the next Fuel Friday.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
How we are the most obese and the most sick country in the world, yet we have more medical and more advanced technology than anywhere else. And it's just
Mhm.
interesting how those two things come into play. So, Dr.
Yeah.
Harrison, I appreciate you doing this with me. We'll see you guys next Friday. Don't forget to share the video with a friend. It might just change somebody's life.